phenomenon called the Noon Movement has existed for half a century. It's kind of like a river flowing along, and people can jump in and come out, and the quality of the experience has been remarkable. When you think of an institution that is so unstructured, and where people aren't getting any money or anything tangible from it, that it hangs together for a half a century. I think it attests to the quality of the people and the interactions that are taking place that make this something that people want to come back the next day and do it, and do things that if someone were kind of requiring us to do all these things that go through, that if John was a PE instructor, saying this is what we're going to do today, get ready, no one would do it. The group would go down to zero instantly. But the fact that we do it to ourselves and that we do it in a nice way and support each other has made it last for half a century. So I'm just going to say a few words and turn it over to Tom Titus, who will ask for people who want to make comments. We're going to have a sign-up sheet, but I guess no one's signed up, but I don't think that is. The first thing is really to thank people, because a lot of people have been working to make this happen. I put a sheet of paper on each table that kind of summarizes a lot of the people who've been very active in working here to make this happen. And I hope I haven't forgotten anyone. I'm not going to read the whole sheet; it's there. But I just want to make a few highlights of it. Obviously, the first people to thank are Ray and Jim for taking the first steps and launching this. The second group to thank is all of us for being the kind of people that would keep this together and reinforce it, because it's really been I think the key is that it's what is now known as a support group, and we just support each other. It's a very constructive, positive thing. So I think we all deserve credit for taking the lead from Ray and Jim and making it last for a half a century. The next person I'd like to thank is Mark Christie, whose idea it was maybe a year ago to have this reunion, and then 2008 came out for the Olympic trials, and he was thinking about it, and then he said, well, I'll volunteer to find people who aren't local, and so he did. He was obviously, that if you've been bugged by him over and over again to respond, that he did track virtually everyone down, and then he followed it up with emails. We do want to apologize for those of you who got numerous emails and forms that were almost impossible to fill out and this sort of thing. And we promise to do it better for the 100th. We've learned. But Mark really made it happen by locating everyone. And thanks. Thanks also to those of you who came from long ago and far away to join us. I mean, us locals can come over here to the Faroon fairly easily, but we really enjoy and appreciate those of you who traveled here to make it. Unfortunately, Roseanne Enison Junker, who was going to join us, had a plane misconnect, and today she was coming from Greenland, directly Greenland, to make it here, and there was a problem with the pilots not being ready, and the plane was late, and she missed her connection by 8 minutes. So that was a sorry thing. We're looking forward to seeing her. So there was a group of people who had to search out these venues: Steve Johnson, Deborah George, Tim Godsell, Sandy, and others. helped to locate these rooms on campus. Terry Froming and Kay helped find the site for tomorrow's brunch at Altenbaker Park, which we hope that you can come to at 10 o'clock. And also Tim and Sandy and several, and Deborah and Steve helped with the catering, and designing of the menu and so forth. We appreciate that. And Tim was really active in almost every aspect of what we're doing. So finding the rooms, helping with the catering, working on the book. You may have seen a couple of hard copies of a reunion book, which we think turned out pretty well. We were gathering material over a long period of time, but it really only came together at the last minute when we got last minute entries and pictures, and we think that you'll find it interesting. Tim, do you want to say a few words about how many copies we have of the CD and things? We had a few hard copies for Ray and Jim and a few others.
We have a limited number of CDs to give out tonight, and I'd like to give them out to anybody who's not local or who doesn't regularly run with the group. You can contact us. There's about 30 CDs, so I think there's enough for everyone who's out from out of town. On the CD is the book you may have been seen passed around. That there's a PDF file that book was created from, so it's on, and it's an interactive PDF, so you can flip to a table of contents and go right to that section. It's kind of nice. And there's nothing automatic about this CD. This is just a CD. It's a data CD, and so there's a folder on there with all the JPEGs for that you saw displayed earlier. They're also on the website, but they're some of them they're in various resolutions. So some of them are okay for print. Most of them are okay for looking at on the screen. And those were provided by many of the people here. There's also a little Windows Movies slideshow on there if you have a PC. I don't think Macs will play those types of files, but you can probably do that other ways on the Mac. So just come to me if you want one of those CDs. And for those local, I have more that have been produced, but they haven't really been quite complete. And so we'll get those to you.
So, particularly the people from out of town, we've got.
Yeah, particularly the people from out of town. The one thing I got to say about the book that was produced, there were other people involved in it. John Carter, in particular, did some of the editing, and that was really helpful. And Nan did a little bit of editing as well. So there were other people involved in producing that book.
Dave Gibson helped a lot on the printed copy.
Yeah.
And my secretary, Lisha, also straighten us out. T-shirts. John Postlewaite kind of headed up the T-shirt division, and he got great help from his daughter Holly and her husband Lance Miller, and they produced the shirts which John is wearing. And if you haven't already picked yours up, if you've ordered your shirt, they're out on the table outside. Is that where they are, John? Okay, so get your shirt, and maybe if there's a place to mark off that you've got it, do that. And we hope that you like the shirt. So we've got the right colors and the right number on it. I should also mention that the book has in the back a section called In Memoriam in memory of those members who are no longer with us. And I think where we were able to, we have a little biography and photo of the person. We don't have that for everyone. And I should also say that because this is digital, as if you'd like, you haven't written something and you'd like to add it, fine. If there's other things or pictures or other things you'd like to add, we can do a second edition, easy enough, since it's all electronic. This is the first edition, but we're really pleased with the book. After we leave this weekend, we'll have memories, but I think the book will be something tangible that will be worth looking at. When you see the stories of people and see what a remarkable group of individuals and all the experiences and 50 years of companionship and stories and all this, it's a lot. And okay, I'm going to turn it over to Tom, but I just would want to show you a little device that I have. I dug out of a drawer, and looks like a compass. It's got a wheel on the bottom, and it's actually a map measure. When I joined the Noon Group in '73, Ray was using this to run over a map, and it's calibrated and can tell you. That's how we measured the distances for our runs. And so I said, well, I have to have one of these map measures too, and Ray told me where to find it. Well, that's the way we did it. 50 years later, now I use this iPhone, and people who run these days, we know that we have an app called Run Meter, which is GPS linked. Some of the group also has GPS watches. This is a little bigger, and it tracks the satellite. It tells you, to 100th of a mile how far you've gone. It tells you what your pace is at the moment, what your average pace is, so I can watch how slow I'm getting, and also the total time. And then when it's done, it emails this to your computer with a map of where you've been and the mile-by-mile pace. So I can also then tell all you old-timers that all of the distances that we used to think our runs were exaggerated. So the flat 5 is only 4.91 miles. And so when a guy on television interviewed me the other day, and I told him I'd run 70,000 miles, it's probably only 68,000 miles. I have to confess. So. Truth, honesty here. So I think I'm going to get off because we want to hear from other people. So thanks for being here.
I'm Tom, otherwise or also known as Dirty Genes, Genes. I've been puzzling for the last couple of weeks over why in the world Paul asked me to do this. I mean, I've only been running with this group since 1996. I'm a baby. As near as I can tell, it's because I have a propensity to lie. So, Paul, Mark, and all the people that have organized this thing, I'm going to apologize in advance for all that I'm going to do in the next hour, but you'll get over it. So, Paul, I know that you like to record all the details of our runs. That's an important thing for you. So I thought I'd fill you in a little bit on what happened this morning. Monty, where are you? Monty Matthews.
Right here.
Monty was the winner in the unofficial time of 59 minutes and 37 seconds. He ran 4.81 miles unofficially. It was a tactical race. Monty hung back in the pack while Dave McJunkin led the entire way. He decided to make his move after McJunkin had taken his 6th wrong turn. Now, when Monty kicks, everyone knows it because it comes with sound effects. And it's something like this. So you're not going to be taken by surprise. When Monty overtakes you, whether it's by surprise or not, which of course it is not, the barometric pressure around your head falls so quickly that you can no longer breathe. And he passes you. It's happened to me many times. So Dave, I have to say it was not a pretty sight watching that from behind. When Monty caught you, and I watched your rib cage collapse, and away he went. So congratulations, Monty. You took him out, and in style, I might add.
You taught me well.
So, I've always sort of wondered what it would be like to be a member of a tribe. I always wondered about that. You know, what would that really be like, to be part of a tribe? And I thought about that a little bit, and I realized that the Noon Runners really is one. I mean, we have all the right stuff. Think about it. We have tradition. We have elders. Okay, so we're a little heavy on the elders. But probably more than anything else, we have our stories. And they go on and on and on. And I would have to say that probably 50% of the banter that occurs on every run is stories. And it's wonderful because, of course, it's the stories that give us the continuity and the cultural continuity. And so tonight we wanted to set aside a big chunk of time to hear your stories. Now, it's an open mic. That's not to be confused with an unlimited amount of time at the mic. So what I need right now is a show of hands. How many people are just thinking that they might want to come up here and take the mic for a few minutes and share? How many? That's good. Okay, so I got about 15.
That's a show of
I think I get about, John, was that your finger or your hand? Nice job. Okay, 16. And what we'd like to do is run this for about an hour. So somebody do the arithmetic for me, but I'm thinking about 4 minutes per person up here at the mic. And here's how it's going to go. The real reason Paul asked me to do this is because he doesn't like me very much. And he knows that I have to stand up here and be the hook, okay? Here's how I'm going to do that. You get the mic, at 3 minutes, I'll stand up and start turning circles and looking agitated. Actually, I won't look agitated. At 3.5 minutes, I'll start looking agitated. At 4 minutes, I'm going to start taking off my clothes. Trust me, no one wants that. And for those of you that are speaking, they're not going to be paying attention to you anymore, okay? So keep it at 4 minutes. We really do want to hear what you have to say. We want to hear from as many people as we possibly can. And I'm so much looking forward to it. It really has been an honor to be asked to do this. So, in the interest of seniority, there are a couple of guys sitting over here at the front table that I think want to do a little time up here. Ray, how about it? Ray Hyman.
When Jim and I began running, believe it or not, it wasn't a common thing. The Eugene was the track capital of, and still is, but it was a place where the runners were athletes, and the rest of us just were spectators. I remember when Jim and I first began leaving the track and running in the streets here, we would get bad stares from people. A couple of times someone threw a can of beer at me, and that changed very quickly. A few years later, Barman went to Australia and met with Art Lydiard, the famous Australian track coach, and who had started the program of jogging for non-athletes in Australia. And Barman brought that back, and a few years later, it became a craze in Eugene, and then it spread throughout. My story I'm going to tell you, I hope I can get it enough time, is that in 1967, I went to Italy on a sabbatical at the University of Bologna. And people knew I was from Oregon, but the only thing they knew about Oregon was that it was a place of cowboys. And they were very disappointed when every time I came into the Institute that I wasn't wearing my chaps or my 10-gallon hat or packing a couple of pistols. But one day, and by the way, this is to show you that there is something of value in running. One day, a secretary came running into the Psychological Institute holding a copy of Panorama. That's the equivalent, the Italian equivalent of Newsweek. And she had it open to a page with a big headline which said, Eugene, Oregon, sex capital of the United States. This turned out, in reading it, was a story about Bowerman and a colleague of his, a doctor here in town. They, after starting the jogging in Eugene, they did after several months of running, they did a survey, a questionnaire to all the runners, to see what had happened as a result of jogging. And had a lot of questions about well-being, weight, health, and stuff like that. But one of the questions was on sexual functioning, of course. And it turned out the majority said that it improved their sexual functioning. And this is what the Italian magazine focused on. And from that day on, every time I came into the University of Bologna, I was a celebrity. Every woman on the campus was now my friend. So there is something of value to running, so keep running.